The entire Bhagavatam is divided into 12 skandhas. At the end of the 10th skandha, we have the end of Krishna Avataram, 11th skandha, Moksha skandha, 12th skandha, on certain generic topics or what will happen in future, on such things. There are some points that are being made. So, the 11th skandha, when we talk about, that is after Krishna ascending to Bhuloka, what happened further is where Vyasacharya, the 11th skandha, talks about a few philosophical topics. Now, what is those philosophical topics is, of course, like if you remember, after Krishna having killed, sorry, you also have the entire Yadu race that is being killed before Krishna avatar ends. Then Krishna also returns to Vaikuntha. The immediately next topic is Dattatreya's 24 gurus. Now, I think a few of you had attended a session wherein we saw the 22 gurus, if you remember. I don't know. Ah. So, wherein Dattatreya is also an avatar of the of Lord only, or you can say Trimurti as we call, also called as Avadhuta, wherein now there was a king Yadu. Yadu was a son of Yayati. He was an ancestor of the Pandavas. He goes and meets an Avadhuta. Now, who exactly is an Avadhuta? Now, Bhagavan Datta is also called Avadhuta, but basically, Avadhuta, this term is used for someone who has attained, you can say, a high spiritual heights or so, has got excellent knowledge and so on. So, one who has realized the self, all such things. So, great sage, basically, you can consider. And he tells that, from where did you get this wisdom? Who taught you? So that king goes and asks this Avadhuta, who's none but Datta Bhagavan himself, from whom you got all this knowledge. And there is so much of distraction around, there is so much of greed around, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, so many enemies around. But still, you're not affected by any. So, what is the secret? You're in your own joy, right? Let anything happen, let anyone tell me anything, let any harm be caused to me. But still, I'm in my own happiness, I'm not being affected by that. Now, this is something which is very difficult for human beings, at least for us, all of us, it is impossible, right? Even if people, or even if something is told even behind our ears, from somewhere we get to know, immediately our minds start boiling, we continuously keep thinking about the same thing, right? But what ultimately matters, what is most important is, we should not make an impact at all. Let anything happen, I'll do my work, right? So here this Avaduta tells him the same thing and says that Santime Guravo Rajan Vahuvo Bahavo Buddhyupashritaha Yato Buddhimupadaya Muktotami Hatan Shruno पृथिवीवायुराकाशमापोऽग्निश्चन्द्रमारविः कपोतो जगरस्सिन्धो सिन्धुः पतङ्गो मधुकृद्गजः मधुहा हरिणो मीनः पिङ्गला कुररोर्भकः कुमारी शरकृत्सर्प ऊर्णनाभिः सुपेशकृत् एते मे गुरवो राजन् चतुर्विंशतिराश्रिताः शिक्षावृत्तिभिरेतेषाम् अन्वक्षिक्षमिहात्मनः. So this Avadhuta who was there, he tells that I did not learn all this from one person. I have multiple gurus in life. In all, I have 24 gurus. Now, this king who was there, Yadu, he was shocked. He says, how come? List of gurus is endless, so many gurus. Through this story that is there, a very, very important lesson is being taught. Who comes to our life? Who is a true guru? That doesn't matter. What ultimately matters is how much we get to learn, from whom we get to learn. We should rather, or that's how it is. We must never look at the qualifications of a guru, the gender of a guru, the age of a guru, or in the case of Datta, he says that you don't even have to look whether the person is a human being or a god or so. Even from nature around, even from animals or so, also I get to learn so much. And Avaduta further reminds us, and it is a very, very friendly reminder which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam to tell that we never know how anyone can come to our lives and influence, right? More than telling it as influence, we never know how people come in, what they teach us, and go. Sometimes a small child, from a small child, what we get to learn is, child, if you see, for a minute or so, it will break its heart out and cry for something it doesn't get. But if you distract it with something else, the next minute it doesn't remember for what it cried, the next minute it might start smiling, right? This nature is something which we should learn from a small child. But in the case of us, what happens is, something happens, we are totally affected by that the entire day or for years and months together. We keep remembering the same thing. Maybe it is a very small thing, but we keep racking our minds on that. Instead, in that time, we could have done some 10 good things, but we didn't do that, right? So, like this, small things are there. From a small child, we get to learn this. I just gave you one example. Like this here, Avaduta tells that from Prithvi, Akasha, Agni, Sun, from an elephant, from a python, or so also I learned many things. Now, from each one of them, he explains in detail, maybe a few I will tell you. Like he tells that from Prithvi Devi, from Bhuma Devi, Earth, I learned the quality of patience. Come what may, she stands erect. Takes a minute for her to pull her hands out, all of us are dead, right? We have phenomena like earthquakes or so which take place. But of course, that is due to many other natural conditions. But Uma Devi, what all we do, we keep tilling the ground, we keep jumping on that. And this was the main reason why most of our elders used to tell us, or till date they might be telling you, that when you walk also you must walk without making noise. Has any of your elders ever told you this? Yes? Why do they tell us this? Because we must not cause harm to Bhuma Devi. Some children also have this habit, right? Or most of us, when as kids, we had this habit, walking with tapping our feet and we walk about, right? So all small things that are told, or maybe some people have a very bad habit of tapping their thighs and things like that. That again should not be done, because that is a sign of which Duryodhana did while he was fighting with Bhima, right? The sign of Urubangam, thigh breaking, that is there. So like this, there are so many things that are told, and of course there are some good reasons also behind why such things are told. Like for example, some people have their habit of continuously tapping their free feet on the ground. Why this was told not to be done is, people in in earlier times used to see, first of all, they'll not even sit on the floor. They'll keep a mat also, only they will sit. Today's times we don't do that. Moreover, you keep tapping your feet, this, that also, especially your thighs. The cold that is there from the ground or from the floor, that makes our thighs numb. We will not be able to walk properly, it makes us weak. That's the reason our elders used to tell not to do that. Or when you tap your feet also and walk, you make that sound and walk, no doubt it causes harm to Bhuma Devi. Moreover, feet also start paining. We should not trouble our feet again, right? So for all the reasons like this which are told, there is something which we get to learn from Vayu. The learn in which Avaduta tells Yadu is, though air is everywhere, it gets mixed with so many things, color, odor, everything, it still remains unaffected, right? So like all of us also, there are so many things around, we cannot stop that. Now air doesn't see, oh, this place is nice, it is fragrant, I'll blow only there. Some other place there's a lot of bad smell that is coming, I'll not go there. So the air does not do such things for everyone, it flows equally, but at the same time it remains unattached. So this is one learning which I get to learn from the air. Further, Akasha, Agni, Apaha, water, and so on. Water, it is the basic need of life. It is transparent, it is soft, pure, everything. Everywhere it is available, but at the same time, it is straightforward. That is transparent. So when the nature of water is transparent, it is literally, it means meaning. I learned that I must be straightforward like water. So like this, from each of the 24 gurus, Avadhuta explains in detail what he gets to learn, and that's how Yadu has a good Yadu gets to know how Avadhuta developed those qualities, how he always remains happy, and so on. Further, now maybe sometime later we will look at all of this in detail. Next is the Hamsavataram of the Lord. Now I think about Hamsavataram also sometime we had discussed, I don't remember. Maybe in the Vishnu Sahasranama meanings, one names come from her Hamsa, close to 10-11 names in praise of Hamsa. Now here what happens is, Hamsa Avataram is a very, very practical avataram. Why so? Hamsa Avataram, if you see, Sanat Kumaras ask a question, keep asking various questions to the Lord, and that's how Hamsa Avataram takes place. Wherein the gist of Hamsa Avataram itself is, he talks to the point. Lord Bhagavan Hamsa, in the form of Swan, does not waste time. He talks to the point, whatever questions the Sanat Kumaras had, and that's how he moves about. Now, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Hamsa Avataram that is mentioned is the gist, or you can say the background which is mentioned. Krishna himself had told the story to Uddhava. So that's the reason Hamsa Avataram becomes more, you can say, auspicious here. And wherein Sanaka and his brothers, once they ask Lord Brahma, that mind that is there, it clings, or you can say there are so many sense objects, like Yadu questioning Avadhuta. Here, for Sanat Kumaras also, imagine the Manasa Putras, that is the mind-born sons of Brahma, they are also having this question. Of course, they are all brahmacharis or so. They are always on the path of spirituality, this, that. But still, they have this problem. They say that our mind immediately gets distracted towards things, all these sense objects that are there. Is there really a way out? How can we come out of this? For this, Bhagavan himself, for this, Brahma guides them further that you go to Vishnu and now, firstly, Brahma also thinks for an answer. Brahma also racks his mind deeply, but he could not get an answer at all. That's when the Lord appears there in the form of a beautiful swan that is Hamsa. Now, anyone knows why the Lord took an Hamsa avataram form? To explain. Hmm. Okay. There is also a shloka for this. Anyone knows that? The swan separating water and milk. No? Ah, in the Parva, that's yes, in Tamil. What else? हंसश्वेतपकश्वेत गोभेदो बकहंसयोः नीरक्षीरविवेके तु हंसो हंसो बको बकः. Very popular words in Sanskrit literature. If you want, you can note it down. Maybe later I'll tell you again. Hamsaha shvetaha, swan is white. Bakaha shvetaha, a duck or you can say a crane, that is also white. Kaha bhedaha, then what is the difference between a swan and a crane? Swan is also white, a crane is also white. Then what is the difference? Neerakshira size is different. Moreover, but you also have cranes with long neck. This answer that was there was given by few more scholars. That's when they said that they are also cranes having long necks also. At the same time, swans who have short necks. So there also there is a problem. Then because there are many species of birds. Now this question was also answered this way. That's when people came to a conclusion that there is only one difference. Neerakshira viveketu hamso hamso vako vakaha. Neeraha water, kshira milk, viveka buddhi. Viveka has buddhi. Swan has got this capacity, like in a bowl, if you mix both milk and water together and you keep it in front of the swan and you keep it in front of a crane, or any other creature, like for example human beings, most of us what we do is we end up drinking milk mixed with water only, whatever milk we get nowadays in today's times. But if water and milk both are mixed together, we cannot separate until and unless you maybe have some machine also to separate. Moreover, we cannot do that. Whereas a swan, very nicely, it has got this ability to separate the milk, consume only the milk, and water remains as it is in the bowl. So this difference shows that, oh, this is truly a swan and this is truly a crane. Now the point of this is Nirakshira Viveka Buddhi. The point is what exactly has been described through this example of a crane and a swan is there are going to be distractions around, there are going to be problems around, there is going to be negativity around. But it is up to us of how much we take it and in what aspect we take it, right? And moreover, there is one more aspect to this. There can be troubling times, or there can be times which are very, very tough in one's life. Like one might have 10 problems, maybe after a few years or so, it might go away. Person who was happy 10 years back, now he will have a set of problems. This is nothing but one's own karma that is there. Moreover, everyone has to face their own set of ups and downs. But there will definitely be a time wherein all of us we come out of that, and when we look back we are happy and satisfied. Oh, I went through so much, but today with the grace of the Lord I am back. Like you consider in the case of all of us also, we have our own set of problems that are there, own set of good things also that are happening in each one of our lives. But somehow the Lord pulls all of us together to at least for some time listen to the stories of the Lord, right? What more do we need? Of course, all of us, maybe at 5 or once a class ends, we have to go back to all those problems, face the same. But at least for some time, He brought us together. So, this is also a blessing that is it. So, here the same example has been told by Bhagavan in Hamsavatara form, wherein he tells the Sanat Kumaras that if you have to find complaints and problems, you will keep doing that lifelong. You must not do it. Oh, I'm doing some spiritual practice, I'm getting a call. I'm closing my eyes for 5 minutes, my mind is getting distracted. This is bound to happen. Abhyasa yogena tato. Like Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12, Gita. Every day you keep doing, it will happen. It's not that one fine day you get up and do. Doesn't happen. right? So therefore, in the course of time, things will fall in place. You don't have to worry. But Nirakshira Viveka Buddhi, let everything be distracted, let everything be bad, you emerge as one good. It is going to be difficult. Now, when we speak, it is easy, but doing that actually puts in a lot of efforts. But for that also, the Lord has given us a solution. He tells us, I am not telling you to do things today. Everyone can do it in a day also. Then we are all gods, right? They're not human beings. That's why he tells Arjuna, through the medium of Arjuna, it is a message to all of us. Abhyasa yogena tataha. With abhyasam, with practice, it will definitely come. So that is the reason why Lord assumes the form of Hamsa, and he gives the same teaching to the Sanat Kumaras and ultimately to all of us. Hamsa Sandesham, as we say, and also Hamsa Avataram, the Lord tells this teaching that is there, that there will be problems, distractions, things around. Just take the good from everything, ignore the rest. Life will always be at its best. Okay, this is the gist of Hamsa Avataram. With regards to this shloka, there is one more shloka. Kakaha Krishnaha पिकः कृष्णः को भेदोऽपि ककाकयोः वसन्तसमये प्राप्ते काकः काकः पिकः पिकः. Kakaha, that is a crow, is black. Pikaha, cuckoo bird, that is also black. Then what is the difference? Vasanta samaye prapte. When the spring season comes in, at that time you can differentiate between a crow and a cuckoo, because crow keeps cawing. But when spring season comes in, the cuckoo starts singing, right? So therefore, this is a difference that is there. So this buddhi, the point is again this nirakshira viveka buddhi, or through such examples, a person, maybe from its outer appearance also, will look the same, but each one of us, we are blessed with innate qualities, and that's the reason everyone is unique. So therefore, we must make the best of what we have. So this is all about Hamsa Avataram, wherein the Lord gives this Sandesha. Further, the path of Bhakti and Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, all that is also explained by the Lord. I'll just tell you in gist about all that. Now, if you see the order, all this also Uddhava asks Bhagavan, and the Lord talks about this. I told you this moksha yoga, the last few parts, they get a bit philosophical. So, now karma, jnana, bhakti. Bhakti margam is something which all of us follow today, the easiest path. Karma yoga, anyways, all of us are doing our own karma that is there. Now, maybe even sitting and listening, or in my case, I'm sitting and telling you something. So, it's some action, that is karma. Jnana yoga is the knowledge that we have. In higher terms, if you talk about jnana yoga, sannyasa yoga also, it means to attain knowledge, doing dhyanam, and so on. But in simple terms also, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, we are doing this every day. Now, in Srimad Bhagavatam, if you see, first comes Karma Yoga, chapter 3. Then comes Jnana Yoga, then Dhyana Yoga. Then towards the concluding chapters, chapter 12 also, we have Bhakti Yoga, that is there, right? Now, why in this order? Karma, Jnana, and then Bhakti. For this also there is a justification that is given. First is, all of us, we do the karma, right? To do some action. For this, again, a very beautiful example of a child. As soon as a small kid is born, we tell the child to do some action, right? And we don't tell them to do, we actually do. Only then the child does. Let's say brush your teeth or so. The mother, what she does is she also takes a brush, she puts maybe the paste on it, and then she helps the child in brushing the teeth. She doesn't stand and tell them, no, now you pick up the brush, now you put the paste. She doesn't instruct. Once or twice she herself has to do, only then the child does. So this is nothing but karma. Next is jnana. At that time, when the action is being taught to the child, there is no jnanam that is told that why you are brushing your teeth, what it does, and so on. The child is also not interested. The child doesn't know. You tell the child also, it is useless. Then after some time, maybe when the child starts going to school, or once it grows up a bit, the child learns that okay, brushing a teeth helps in killing the germs, this, that, and so on. Now jnanam comes in. Now, so first is karma. For all these years, the child was anyways brushing his teeth. Now maybe at the age of 5 or 6, it gets to know why it is brushing its teeth. Moves on to the higher classes, maybe the higher secondary classes. That's when someone tells, no, you should brush your teeth this way, you should use a tongue cleaner. Then there is something called a wisdom teeth also, this, that. Now the child thinks that, oh, all these years I was brushing my teeth, no doubt, but maybe I was not brushing it in the right manner. Now I have maybe wisdom teeth also growing. Now I should brush my teeth properly. I must use a tongue cleaner. I must maybe use a mouth freshener, this, that we do. Then maybe I should brush my teeth twice. All this. This is nothing but I have already done the karma. I know why I'm doing the karma, but bhakti yoga, bhakti is utmost devotion. I give my 100% in it because I'm already doing it. I know why I'm doing it, but now I have to do the best. That is bhakti yoga. I just gave an example of brushing my teeth, but this is for all actions that we do. First is the karma that is done. It can be anything, right? You learn to maybe drive a cycle, ride a cycle, drive a car, or so. You have to sit, right? Someone gives us instructions, so put the steering wheel this way, that way. You cannot do until and unless you sit in the driver's seat. You maybe once or twice you maybe bump somewhere. Only then we end up learning. So doing karma is something which is very important. Then maybe some jnanam we get out of that, and then finally it is bhakti. So Krishna also tells that whatever we do, that should have total bhakti in it. But for that we have to start. Starting, that is the first stage, karma, something which is very important. I know many things, but I don't know where to start. Useless, right? I know this, I know that, but I'm not doing it. What is the use of knowing? So I know all the Puranas, everything is there in the cupboard, but I have bought all the books. I have a lot of bhakti towards the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2 volumes are there. Sri Mahabharatam, 20 volumes are there. Ramayana, 6 volumes are there. Everything is nicely there in the cupboard. But what I'm if I'm not doing the karma of opening even one volume and reading, it's just getting dust, nothing else. And maybe one fine day during Diwali also, I take out the books, I clean everything, again I keep it back. So it is useless. So point is Uddhava. Krishna also tells the same thing to Uddhava, wherein he says that if proper karma is not done, first is karma, then whatever karma you're doing, that should be done with proper jnanam. And ultimately, after you attain jnanam, you should give your 100% to it. Now, just okay, I'm doing some karma. I know I am doing for the sake of doing, because I know okay, it should be done for the sake of doing things. If I do, again, it is useless. Therefore, bhakti is something which is very, very important. So, therefore, the Lord also gives Uddhava some tips saying that one should first of all do some karma wherein my stories are being told also. That person should go to that place. So this is nothing but karma yoga. Then when someone is telling the stories of the Lord, we are getting that knowledge, jnanam, right? Now once someone tells us, it's not enough. Once someone tells, maybe a minute back, tells us something, we forget. Then we keep revising that, maybe we keep listening to that again and again. That's when it finally gets registered in our minds. This is nothing but bhakti. So the Lord tells, and that is why whenever, let it be a Bhagavata Saptaham or something like that, we keep going there again and again, or we keep reading the texts again and again. Vishayandyayataschittam vishayeshu vishajyate माम अनुस्मरतश्चित्तं मय्येव प्रैलीवते तस्मात् असदभिज्ञानं यथा स्वप्नमनोरथं हित्वा मयि समाधत्स्व मनोमद्भावभावितम्. Skanda 11, Krishna, when he talks about Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga to Uddhava, some verses are quoted, wherein he tells that one's mind should not continuously think or be there on sense objects also. It should be thinking about me, that is on the Lord, on my stories, thinking about my glories also. And with Abhyasa, when you keep doing the same thing, you'll ultimately attain Mukti. So, all this advice he gives to Uddhava and then to all of us. Now, further, Uddhava says all this after listening to this discourse which was told by Krishna. Finally, Uddhava he questions, saying that you are only that ultimate Brahma, or so. Everyone is you, ultimate Brahman, the ultimate Lord of the universe. But can you tell me of your manifestations also? That is about your various avatars. Why this has to be told is so that people can remember you in various forms. The Lord tells that this was also asked by Arjuna before. This is nothing but chapter 10 of the Gita, wherein in different forms. Adityanamaham Vishnu. So among the Vishnus I'm this, among the Rudras I'm this, among the Adityas I'm this. Among all the categories that are there, I'm the best amongst them, the Lord says. And this in this way he talks about his manifestations. Now further what happens is the Lord talks about the duties of the 4 Varanas and the 4 Ashramas also. Mm. One. Mm. People ended up fighting. Yes. Then, okay. So, further, Moksha Skanda 11, chapter 17, wherein the Lord describes about the four Varanas and the four Ashramas. Now, what are the four Varanas that are there and four Ashramas? Four Varanas, anyone? What are the four? Correct. And the four Ashramas, Brahmacharya Ashrama, Grihastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama, Sannyasa Ashrama. Now, please note, this today we look at all this and maybe give a very loose translation for the Varana saying this caste is not at all a caste that is there. It's just a grade. Let's not even say a grade. Now this grade matter that is there maybe in today's corporate life also that most of us face. This grade is something which many people it kills us, right? Oh, he's at a higher grade, I'm at a lower grade and so on. So let it be the caste, let it be one's own grade. It was just to differentiate, or you can say to make the society more easy. So we very loosely we look at things, and then you have so much of all this caste system also coming in, and then we end up blaming the Lord also. But the Lord very clearly mentions in the Gita, Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. This Varna system itself has been created based on one's own gunas, qualities that are there, and based on one's own karma, action. So therefore, we don't have to worry. Nobody has told someone is high, someone is low also. Now in today's times, if you see, it doesn't make much difference for us because today the society is complex, right? I'm not feeling well, I can go to a doctor. I want to learn something, I can go to a teacher. Or there is something else, I want to repair something also, I can find a mechanic easily. So today's society has become complex for you can say quite easy. And today, in fact, we don't even have to go out. Everything is there online, right? So people themselves sitting at a house, we call someone, they come in. But in those times wherein the society was less, there were small village settlements or so, you needed a society to function. We didn't have all this public facilities, you didn't have a school, maybe a hospital or so on. So everything used to happen in that village only. So what will happen further is a group of people who have maybe mastered, they have the Yajnapavitam that is done, who have studied the Vedas also, who have mastered knowledge, they were categorized as Brahmanas. They are responsible for the teaching part in the society. Then the Kshatriya community, they were known for protecting the society. So maintenance, welfare also was given to them. But you are responsible for protection. Maybe on the borders or if some external enemies attack and so on. Next is the Vaishya community. Now for any society to function, business, something which is very important. That's how you had all this animal husbandry also, agriculture, which started building up. That's the reason why even today also agriculture is the primary occupation of Bharat Desha, right? So the Vaishya community was responsible for doing the business that is there. And finally, the Shudras community is nothing but the sanitation, or one used to take care of the service part, housekeeping, and so on. But today, if you see, most of us, we all are actually the, we all belong to the Shudra community only. That is nothing but the service sector. Now, most of us today, we are giving our services to one particular company or to someone or something, right? So ultimately, we are also known for doing our services only. So we are also that part of the society. But whenever someone we look upon, when the Varnas are differentiated as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, we feel that one community is high, another is low. It is not at all so. It was basically done for to ensure that the society used to function well. Next is Brahmacharya Ashrama, wherein the four stages of life. Now, roughly, a human being average lifespan you can consider 100 years. Roughly, you divide 4, 25. First 25 years, Brahmacharya Ashrama, education. Next 25, Grihastha Ashrama, family life. Slowly you start retiring Vanaprastha Ashrama. After 50 or so, slowly, now I know what exactly I have to do in life and so on. Slowly I start maybe retiring towards spiritual activities, knowing the ultimate reality of life, this, that, roughly till 75. Then after 75, Sannyasa Ashrama. Sannyasa Ashrama, now in those times, kings also, they used to retire to the forest and then they used to maybe take up samadhi also, spend their time in the, you can say, in the midst of sages, ashramas. In today's times also, this is very much applicable. Initial years education, then family life. Slowly we start retiring. Ultimately, the meaning of Vanaprastha and Sannyasa Ashrama is slowly retiring from what we are doing. Maybe what I did at the age of 30, it's not expected that I do that at the age of 60 also. Maybe at the age of 30, I wanted a house, I wanted a car. the age of 60 also, if I want the same thing, then there is no use, right? Just give you an example. So slowly we start retiring. We know what is important, most important, and then the last stage, sannyasa ashrama. So spending our time in doing most spiritual activities, knowing the reality, and so on. So this is the four ashramas. Itam swabhritya mukhyena prishtasta bhagavan harihi vritakshema yamartyanam dharmana hasanatanan. So when here Sri Shuka, he tells in Srimad Bhagavatam that when Uddhava questioned, he asks about what exactly are the four ashramas, four varnas also. The Lord gives the detailed description, what everyone has to do, and of course in detail it is mentioned. I just gave you a gist of it. Further, after talking about the four varnas and ashramas, yogic disciplines are talked like the Ashtanga Yoga Paddhati and Bhakti Yoga. So that also further is described in the 11th chapter. Now, all this, if you must read in detail also. We are just looking at the gist, so I'm not going too much deeper. But there's lots and lots to read when we go deeper into it. Again, you have the ultimate Brahman that is talked about. Then you have certain stories also which are talked. Finally, Uddhava, after getting all this knowledge, he departs for Badrikashrama. The Lord also goes to Vaikuntham. Now it is said that in Badrikashrama, Uddhava has done a lot of tapasya on the Lord. That's the reason even today also, if you go to Badrikashramam, is nothing but the Badrinath Dham. Badrinath Dham. So whenever you go to Badrinath Dham, they said that we must do at least 5 minutes of meditation, at least 5 minutes of remembering the Lord there. So it is nothing but the Kshetra Mahima of that place. You go to different places, they have a Kshetra Mahima. Jagannath Puri, you have the Bhog that is given. Tirupati, you have the Kalyana Utsavam that is done. Guruvayur continuously Srimad Bhagavatam, Narayana Parayanam, that is done. So like this, each place has got its speciality. Similarly, Badrikashramam is known for remembering or meditating upon the Lord. Now slowly what happens is, once all this ends, Krishna Avataram, Krishna departs to Vaikuntham, Uddhava goes to Badrikashramam. Now finally, the pangs, 12th skandam starts. The 12th skanda, the evils of Kali Yugam slowly have been described. Now if you see, 11th skandam is in Bhavishya Kalaha, that is, has been described in future tense. Why so? At the time of writing Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam mainly talks about Krishna Leela stories. Krishna has departed, so now, or Krishna Avataram has come to an end. So now what happens is, whatever happens further is all will happen. For today, it is still ongoing for us today. But still for us also, we are hardly in the first quarter. You can say Kali Yugam has just started. We are not even, we just entered, you can consider, or maybe just the quarter. So therefore, for us also a major part is still Bhavishya Kala. So therefore the entire 12th skandam that is there, or whenever some predictions are being done, you have everything that is given in Bhavishya Kala. Now whatever the first chapter, or you can say consider the second chapter of Skanda 12, those who are interested, you can read it, the original chapter and its translation in detail. It is said that more than 90% whatever has been mentioned in the second chapter, Skanda 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam, seems to be true today. Now, all of this, maybe in just I'll tell you now. Moreover, you can read it for yourself also. It is one of those wonders of Srimad Bhagavatam that whatever was predicted then by Vyasacharya has turned out to be true today. Slowly, dharma will decline. Slowly Satyam will decline. Slowly Shaucham is purity. Now all such things we also see, right? Maybe like I told you, our grandmothers also, they have, you walk this way, you wipe the floor this way, you eat this way. Today for us, even basic hygiene is also something which most of us we have a problem. Of course, now this you cannot consider as an evil also, because uh, it also depends on how we live, where we live. Times change, but that doesn't, maybe in those times most of us we have a justification, right, for this. Those times houses were big, today houses are small, that's fine. But at least the basic things, how much ever we can, we must do. Then Bhagavatam says that in the Kali Yugam, what will happen is, having a Yajñopavitam will be the only sign of a person who's a Brahmana, nothing else. Same thing has happened today. If you have to make out between people also, okay, who's a scholar or who belongs to the teaching community, only the Yajñopavitam is something which differentiates, right? Now, it is not only a Brahmana, because for in today's times, this Yajnaopavitam is worn by Brahmanas only, but Yajnaopavitam is actually meant for Kshatriyas and Vaishyas also. Many of us we don't know about this because in the Kali Yugam only a Brahmana will wear a Yajnaopavitam. Moreover, merely wearing a Yajnaopavitam and not following any of the Shastra Karmas that are being laid out is useless. It's just as if you are wearing a thread, you have wasted money also in doing the Upanayana Samskara. So that is also useless. Of course, this has been highlighted uh, by most of our acharyas also. Then, moreover, Kali Yugam says that Srimad Bhagavatam says that in Kali Yugam what will happen is people will have lot of things to show off from their external body, right? Like in order to prove themselves, they'll go to any level and they'll show it from outside. But from inside, the person will be zero. Like empty vessels make the most noise, right? So that way, when we say from like today's times also, you can see so many people around. Forget about looking at others. We also let us look at our own self, right? We also many times do the same thing in order to prove ourselves that no, I am correct or what I'm doing. But if I want to show the world what exactly I'm doing, from outside we ensure that no, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or so on. But from inside, it will be zero. In fact, it should be the other way around. Outside, however you look, no doubt we must look presentable from outside also. External appearance is also important, but from inside, if there are no good qualities, there is no gunam, everything is useless, right? Similarly, in Kali Yugam, what will further happen is, Srimad Bhagavatam says, filling one's own stomach will be the only aim in life. Now, this is something which is done even by animals also. Now, this is a very major important thing also in one's life, right? Most of us, we go about here and there, we work, we told why we do this. Ultimately, we have to fill our stomachs, our family's stomach, no doubt an important part, but consider one of the most important things which one should do. But that is not the only aim, right? If you are doing things to fill your own belly, even the roadside dog is also doing the same thing. It is also taking care of its young one, it is also running here and there for food. Then what is the difference between a dog and us? Nothing. But if a manushya janma is given, we have to make the most of it. So there is something beyond eat, sleep, drink, repeat, right? So that is nothing but maybe chanting the names of the Lord, doing something good. Now here a question comes, too many of us saying that what if, does it mean that I just have to chant the names of the Lord or maybe do only puja adi karmas also? Nowhere Sanatana Dharma stresses us that you should do this. It's your choice, right? Bhakti you have, you do. Nobody has forced you. Every day you have to do this only, right? Nobody tells us this. There are about 1,000 and millions of things that are given. Out of this, you choose what you want to do. That's the reason some of us maybe chant stotras, some of us sing the songs of the Lord. Some of us listen to the stories. Some of us don't do anything. That is also fine. That is also accepted by the Lord, right? He never forces us. At the same time, He doesn't tell, oh, someone is not doing anything, I'll not bless him. Or someone is doing everything, I'll bless him more. It doesn't happen that way, right? So, therefore, there is no forcefully things that are being told in our dharma, but what ultimately has been told is we must be good. We must be, you can say, no trouble should be caused because of us. At the same time, an ideal life should be led. So maybe spending our time doing good things, doing some positive things, or doing things that we like. This should be one more aim of human life. Moreover, there are certain dharmas that are being told for every yugam. Like Satya Yugam, if you see, many people used to, the way of attaining the Lord was through tapasya. Treta Yugam, it was through sacrifices. That's the reason Rama had to protect the sacrifices of many sages. Then Dwapara Yugam, Puja the Karmas also. You had the Govardhana Puja, things like that during the Krishna Avtaram times. Kali Yugam, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Merely chanting the names of the Lord, Krishna, Rama, we call out, that also attains to bliss. But that is also bhakti. Therefore, it is the best of yugas also, which has been told here. So, therefore, Satyayugam, as we had seen this in the introductory session also, Satyayugam is wherein Dharma will stand on all 4 feet. It's in the form of a bull. It stands on all 4 feet. Tretayugam, now what are those 4 feet? Dharma, Satya, Daya, Daya is compassion, and Tapas. Or you can also consider as Satyam, Daya, Tapas, and Danam. Danam is charity. Slowly in the Treta Yugam, what happens is little. people, you had characters like Ravana, Kumbhakarna coming in, so little bit of falsehood, little bit of attacks also, all that starts. Dwapara Yugam starts more of violence. That's reason right from the time the Lord was born, so many asuras came to attack him. At least in Krishna Avataram, after only going to the forest after the abduction of Sita, Ravana comes in. Of course, there were few Rakshasas who were there initially, but not a direct attack to the Lord, right? But in the case of Krishna, before the Lord was born only, the Lord was attacked with innumerous asuras. Dwapara Yugam, therefore, more of dangers, attacks also coming. Kali Yugam, only a quarter of dharma remains, it seems. Therefore, and dharma keeps growing. Therefore, whatever little dharma that we have, we need to safeguard that. So, all this is further yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyathanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. But through all this also, the Lord assures all of us that in the Gita, like he says, just as dharma comes to an end in every yuga, I take an avatara there, like we have the Kalki avataram, which takes place in the Kali Yuga. So, further, Shuka also in a verse he highlights Kaler dosha nide rajan asti eko mahan gunaha. There can be innumerous doshas or false, bad things that are being told in Kali Yuga, but eko mahan gunaha. There is a very, very important, significant quality in this Kali Yuga. What is that? Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangah Param Vrajet. What was attained by most difficulty. The previous three yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, that's to attain Mukti, attain the Lord, that is the most easiest in Kali Yuga. What is that? Merely chanting the names of the Lord, that will lead to Mukti. This is something which is the best in Kali Yuga. You take the best, you leave the others apart. कृते युद्धायतो विष्णुं त्रेतायां यजतोमकैः द्वापरे परिचर्यायां कलौ तद्धरिकीर्तनात् कलौ हरिकीर्तनात् mere chanting of Hari's names, the Lord's names will lead to mukti. Further, Parikshit attains moksha here because the last 7 days of his life, he listens to the glories of the Lord. That is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam. Further, you also have the story of Markandeya that is told in the 12th skanda. Then the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam itself is told in the 12th skandam, and also the you can say a gist of all the other Puranas also is highlighted. Srimad Bhagavatam also mentions a number of shlokas of each Purana, like Brahma Puranam is 10,000, Padma Puranam 55,000. All this you can consider in different references, it will be given with a bit plus minus. But if I'm just telling you these numbers as per what is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Puranam is 18,000. Devi Bhagavatam. Now, Devi Bhagavatam is not a part of the 18 Puranas, but there are many more Puranas also. In that, one is Devi Bhagavatam, that is also 18 Puranas. 18,000 verses, Agni Puranam 15,400, and so on. So, therefore, roughly, if you consider all the 18 major Puranas, they amount to about 4 lakh verses. This, by the help and the grace of Vyasacharya, it has been distinguished properly for people and devotees like us to read every Purana easily. But that also has become a tough task for us. Finally, Srimad Bhagavatam, why it is very auspicious is because it was first told by Lord Hari himself, Lord Vishnu himself to Brahma, and then it has been passed on from Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, Vyasa to Shuka, Shuka to Parikshit, and ultimately to all of us. And then there are so many gurus, upanyasakars also who tell us this Srimad Bhagavatam. So like this has been passed on. Now, like I told you in Srimad Bhagavatam, Skanda 12, you have certain future events also that are told. Like Kalki Avataram will take place. Then you have the various lineage of kings that have been told, like the Maurya dynasty, Gupta dynasty, and so on. And the same thing has happened also, right? We had Mauryas who ruled over Bharata, the Guptas who come in Ashoka, and so on. Then you also have the reference of Chandragupta Maurya that is there. Even Bhavishyat Puranam also talks about this. Just for your information, you can note down. Bhavishyat Puranam also talks about the advent of Muslims coming in, advent of Christians coming in. This again shows that our dharma is open. Sanatana Dharma also has a mention of other communities who come in. Jainism, Buddhism, how they also enter Bharatadesha. That also has been mentioned in just in Bhavishyat Puranam. Bhavishyat Puranam also talks about the future events, how the Britishers also come into Bharatadesha. All this has happened. So whatever has mentioned in the Puranas, same thing has already happened, because all of us, we know in history it has happened. We know, okay, these things are true, right? But for people, if we don't read about this, we never know what is there in our own Puranas. Right? Further, there is a mention of various vaccines also that are being told in Srimad Bhagavatam. That is, Srimad Bhagavatam has a verse which says, Amayo yashcha bhutanam jayate yena subrata tadeva hyamayam dravyam napunati chikitsatam. All of us, we take vaccines. Now, forget about this and that. The COVID vaccine, which most of us took, right? Not most of us, all of us took. Without that, we could not survive, right? Maybe about 2 3 years back, or even now also, if you see certain places, they still ask us that certificate. So point is, now what exactly is a vaccine? Or for small children also, you have so many vaccines that are given. Our rishis, what they told, this is mentioned in skanda 1, wherein it is said that the substance which causes a disease, that is there can be a particular thing which causes a disease, but at the same time, in some other form, if the same thing is put in the body, it will not, it will help in curing the disease. What exactly is a vaccine? You put the same virus inside that vaccine and you give that in the form of an injection. When we take up, that same disease is cured, right? This was mentioned by our rishis, and that's how we have the discovery of so many vaccines that is being done. This is just one thing which Srimad Bhagavatam highlights. Like this, there are innumerable things that are told. And wherein in Kunti Stuti, a few of us had learned various stutis, and that one stuti that is there, Kunti Stuti, wherein Kunti prays that there should be lot of calamities that should keep falling us. Now Kunti is actually the aunt of Krishna. She prays to Krishna and tells that lot of calamities, O Lord, should keep falling on all of us continuously. Why so? Krishna says, why so? Why you are asking? I have protected your children, the Panchapandavas, always. I have protected you also, and still you want more calamities. Kunti Devi, like all of us, she tells that only if calamities and troubles come on us, we remember you, O Lord. Otherwise, we are all busy in our own lives. Only that will help us in attaining moksha. So, therefore, let calamities keep falling on us. At least because of that, we will end up remembering you. So, therefore, this is how, let it be Draupadi, let it be Kunti also, or let it be any of the Pandavas, whenever they were in trouble, they used to always remember the Lord. The Lord used to be at their near them, always helping and guiding them. Further, you have the various divisions of time also that are told, the Nimisha, Kshanam, and so on. And wherein Prahlada Charitam that we saw, Prahlada says that you don't have to wait for any time to think about the Lord. The minute is now. Not only for thinking about the Lord, for doing anything good or for doing anything auspicious or for doing what you like, something good or positive, you must never look or wait, because life is very unpredictable. Next minute, you don't know whether you're going to breathe, right? Then we make plans for 10 years, 15 years. Whatever has to be done after 10, 15 years, that is okay. But what you can do now should be done now only. And कौमार आचरेत् प्राज्ञो धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभम मानुषम जन्म तदप्यध्रुवमर्थदम. Prahlada says, right from childhood only, one should be on the path of moksha. Or maybe chanting the names of the Lord, this, that. After retirement, after 50, 70, I think it is not going to happen. Once the things that we do from childhood, that becomes a way of life, right? And now for behind this also, there is a reason that is there. Why so? Because thing in life also, anything, let it not be only bhakti, for any other thing also, things that we keep doing from childhood, they remain with us. Like the basic things that we do every day, getting up in the morning, brushing our teeth, taking a bath also. Why every day we do this? Because right from childhood we are doing this. A small child also does this, an old person also does this, female, male, everyone does this. Now, every day, we don't have to remind ourselves, or there is no need for someone to come and remind, oh, maybe now you have to brush your teeth. Now, maybe you have to use the washroom. Now, maybe you have to go take a bath. Now, you have to have food. Why? Because we are doing it right from childhood. But, same thing for a child. For it, it is something which is very difficult. Because maybe children initially, small children, you have to tell them. Why we have to tell them? Now, you go and brush your teeth. Now, you go and use the washroom. Now, you go and take a bath. Why? It's not because the child is a fool also, because it is not habituated to that. It's not used to it. For the child, it is something which is very new, right? So therefore, again and again, we have to tell that now you go, now you do. So or anything in life, like this example that I told you, let it be God realization, let it be moksha, let it be bhakti, or let it be doing anything else, maybe learning shlokas, reading a book, or developing some new habit, it takes time. And when it takes time, durlabham manusham janma, Prahlada says, you don't have much time. Manusha Janma is hardly 100 years. In that also, how much we live, we don't know, right? In that only you have to attain moksha, you have to make your life fruitful also. Then you have to start from now, right? From childhood only you start, only then you will be able to achieve things later. So therefore, we have to put in a lot of efforts. The age of 50, 60 or so I start, then by the time you become perfect, we'll end up dying, right? And we never know how life plays in. So therefore, all such things are told in Srimad Bhagavatam. Finally, there are many other things also which are told in Srimad Bhagavatam, but the last verse of Srimad Bhagavata Puranam says, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tab Namami Harim Param. Thing that we can do is always Nama Sankirtanam Yasya, always remembering the names of the Lord is a way of attaining bhakti, attaining mukti in Kali Yugam. And the Lord also, the 12th skandam, he finally concludes saying that keep chanting my names, keep listening to my stories, don't miss an opportunity. And that too, if you think deeper over this, not everyone gets this opportunity. When we feel this Nama Sankirtanam Yasya, just listening to the stories of that, it is so easy. Someone tells, I listen, or I have a book, I will read, or maybe just merely chanting the name. So how much time it takes Krishna, 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 Rama, 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 or some other Nama that we do? How much time it takes? It's so easy. We feel. But what if that thought doesn't come? What if I don't feel like picking a book and reading? What if I feel like not going to a place where the stories are being told? What if I don't feel like chanting the name? I forget why, who will set up chanting, I'll do something else, right? So this, the bhavam that is there, the thought itself should come to our minds. That also will come due to the grace of the Lord only. There is no option for that. So therefore, things should not be taken in a lighter sense at all. So today, if we feel, whenever, when we conclude. So with this, Srimad Bhagavatam concludes. So while we conclude all these sessions, the only thing which we must remember is we should all be blessed, feel blessed and grateful and thankful to the Lord that this Sadbuddhi has come to our mind. The Lord only has blessed us with it, that I should remember him, I should listen to his stories and so on. This interest that comes in. If I want, I can spend time doing anything else. I'll not feel like logging in at 4. I'll not feel like maybe taking a book, and it can be for you or it can be for me also. What if I don't feel like doing it? Ah, forget why. One day it's a holiday also nicely, let me enjoy. What if I feel so? Or what if all of you feel so? So this bhavam that is there is something which the Lord only puts in our mind and tells that no, you must do this. You spend this 1 hour or 1.5 hours, 2 hours that is there thinking about me. Spend time, that too. For us, the Lord has made things so easy. The comfort of our homes, we have to just sit and do it. That also, if we cannot do, then it is our own karma that is there, our own ajnanam. So therefore, we will conclude our sessions today with this. Srimad Bhagavatam also ends. And let's all be blessed. Let the Lord always bless us too. Keep chanting his names, keep reading about his glories. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gururdevo Maheshwarah गुरः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तम अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष जनार्दन